All right. Welcome to Vikas Web channel, and this video is about dynamic form. You probably have already seen in the title and thumbnail. So, what exactly dynamic form means? Well, for that, I have this one project, and by the way, this is already live, and I'm also upgrading it and adding more and more features. But if you want to build your CV quickly, then you can just go to this URL or check the link in the description. So what is here? You see, so let's say there is this one section called website links, and if you go to CV here in preview, and these are all website links, and then these are languages and skills and everything. So let's say I want to add another skill. Okay, so for that I need to go somewhere here, let's say here, and then I just add one more thing, and let's say test skill. Similarly, if I want to go something and add in hobbies and let's say do nothing, and then if I go and preview here, so you see the test skill is here and do nothing is here. Usually we have fixed amount of forms, fixed amount of input fields, but in this case these are all dynamic. User can add as many as they want, and not only this form, but we also have this whole section. So if I go and add another section, you see this whole section, and then inside section we have again inner dynamic thing, so we can delete this and so on. So this is what dynamic form is, and you can see the reference for this CV example from the link description. However, we are not going to do this big project for this video. We will be working with this. Here we will have like fields, and then we will have some way to do dynamic. So if this sounds good for you, and if this is what you are looking for from this video, then definitely I'll request you to smash the like button so that others will also see this video, as well as if you are new to this channel, feel free to subscribe the channel so that you will get new content in your feed. With that being said, let's start the video. So we are here in this dashboard example, and if you don't know what is this, then you have to go and check my other videos. We built all this in our video. I started with React router v6 with all this router, and then private and protected route, and then like some other things like params and everything, and we have come so far. And now I added another route called dynamic form, and you will get all these codes, and you can also follow, as I said, from our previous videos to get along. So in our dynamic form we have two cases. One is just the basic, so you know, like in dashboard, if you have a follow-up in some or in different platform where there is this team feature, there you can invite your team member in the team, right? Usually you can give the name and email, or you can even select the roles, and then if you want to add like invite multiple party, you just click this, and then it just gets more and more, and you can add and invite as many members as you want. Similarly, this is another way to show you, similar to our CV maker here. So in this case, almost the similar concept, but here you can choose the name of the team, and then you can have as many members as you want, and then you can also add new team, which should add like new box like that. So a little bit similar to what I have done here, where you add section, and then inside section you have all these fields. So almost same repetition. So let's go and do and start the coding part, or making this dynamic. At the moment, if I click this plus, it does nothing, and same here. All right, so first let's go and let's make this form dynamic, and for that let's go to our code. So you see here we have this one section called invite member, and then this is a form row. So for example, if I go and if I do like this, and then you can see that it is now already two fields, but we want to do this but programmatically, right? So for that let's go and let's create a state. Okay, so that will be, let's say, invite members payload, and well, let's just say invite well, let's just set invite members, and this is coming from our React use state, and we have this, something is wrong there. Okay, so initially what we can do is we can give one object, and now we need to see what are the things happening here. So first thing first, we have names, so we can give a name as an empty string. Similarly, we have email, and we can also give that empty. Additionally, we also need some way to identify which field we are talking about, since this is an array and we will have multiple, if not unlimited amount of data inside. So for that, we will have something called ID. Initially, I will just write 1, but we need to do some sort of thing so that we can make this ID dynamic. Okay, and I think that's enough. So now here, what we can do is we can loop through everything inside. So for that, let's just open like this, and for invite members, we can map it, and then we will have each member, and then here all we need to do is just copy our form here, and then we already have some sort of things. We will change the value and everything later, and also have add function and handle change and everything later. But now if you go and see, we still have the same thing. Obviously we can type, but it does nothing, and still if we click this, it does nothing. However, if I go now here and duplicate this, or even make it 3 times, let's just change ID to 2 and ID to 3, and if we are doing that, then it's also good that we give the key, otherwise React will complain, and let's do that. Okay, okay, so now you see we have 3 fields. That's good. Obviously we don't want to do this. I was just showing it that how now already our forms are becoming dynamic. Now we need some way so that we can add. So for example, here on click, we can have a function called add member row, and then now we have to create a function here, add new form field for adding member, and then here what we can do is, let's first duplicate that array, and I will do like this. The reason why I always like to put this underscore is because I don't want to create some other name called, let's say, temp or something. You can definitely do that, and then if I'm dealing about the same variable, I just like to do that, and this way I'm not creating the same name, so I don't have any conflicts and anything going on. However, I would also know what temporary variable I'm referring to, so that's what I do. Some people also like to do temp. It's up to you. Anyway, here now I would like to get everything from our invite members. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a new array with almost the same name, just with this underscore, and there I'm copying everything from this array. At the moment there is only one object, but as we go it will keep adding more and more. Okay, so the next thing what we need to do is, in this we want to do push, and we want to push something, but before that something we need to find a way to generate some sort of a random ID, and that should be unique, because you see we are using it as a key here. So in React, whenever we are doing this kind of map or looping, it should not have duplicate ID. That's number 1. And number 2, if we have duplicate ID, we will not know what field we are referring to in future, right? So for that reason, let's say to do generate random ID. So we will do that, or additionally we can also use some sort of package. There is a package called So if we go here, then there is this package called UUID, and all we can do is we can just copy, and then if I go here in my terminal, let's cancel everything for now and add. All right, let's start. And then here what we can do is, just like we have it here in our example, so we can do similar. So it says, okay, maybe I also need to add types for this, since this is a TypeScript project. So for that, all I need to do is this, and let's hope there is the type available. All right, now this should go away, and it did. Let's start our project again. And now what we can do, if we see here for ID, all we need to do is just call this function. Okay, so now let's go here, and already here we can just do like that. And also here now we have name, and that's empty, and then we have email, and that's empty as well, and we have ID, and that's UUID v4. And now when we have that, let's go and let's do set invite members. And what we are doing is, this is a setter, so we are saving, we are first creating a new array that is basically the same as whatever we have at that moment, until that moment in this array, and then pushing one more thing and then saving that array. So that way we are not mutating, and this should be good. Now if we go here and if we refresh, now if I add, you see we have more and more and more and more. That's good. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to also somehow remove it, right? So we have add row. Now let's almost copy this, and then instead of add, let's do remove member row, and in that case we want ID, and that will be string. And we can do basically the same thing, right? Then what we can do is, instead of doing this, we can do invite members is basically same as invite members, or additionally we can directly use this, but let's use this, and filter member, where member.id is not equals to whatever the ID we are giving. So what it does is it filters, and we will pass ID because we are removing that ID. So we want everything else back except the ID that we provide, and then we do the same thing. So now what we can do is, let's go here, and then where we have a plus button, let's duplicate this like this, and then here we can add that and make this minus. Okay, so we need to define ID, and for that it's even better like this, and then let's give the ID member.id. So we are getting ID from here, and we will only show this. Let's only show this. So we will show this only if our invite members dot length is greater than 1, then only we can show this. Okay, so when we have only 1, we don't need to show it, but when we have 2, we can show it. And then if we do it, you see it removed. So for example, if I type something here, I have something here, something here, something here, and if I want to remove this, you see it removes that. So now we have add and remove both gone. So the next thing we have to deal is how to handle each of the data. Okay, so for that we have to use something in React called onChange function. So that's what we have to do. And how to do that? Well, it's pretty simple. So what we do is, let's go here, somewhere here, handle email row change. So members change, and then this will have two things, and then the first thing will be ID, and that will be string, because we need to know which ID we are talking about. And then another is event, and that event will be React change event, and that will be HTML input email. Okay, so far what we have done, we have converted our normal fixed input field with this map. So as many objects as we have inside our invite members, this will get added. And then we have add member row. All that does is just pushes one more this empty object with ID there, and then remove, that will remove anything that we provide with ID. So the next, with our handle member change, what we need to do here is we need to again take all our this data of invite members. So basically we can copy same approach. We might need to define types later, but let's keep that for later. Actually, I don't know if we really need this or not, but let's see. We need to also find the index. So find the index to be changed. So let's do const index is invite members dot find index, and we are talking about member, and we want member dot id is same as the ID that we give. So we want to know like what is the index of this ID we are talking about in this invite members array. So that's the first thing. And now when we have that index, all we can do is we copy the array here just so that we don't mute it accidentally. And then what we do is pretty straightforward. So invite members, whatever the index it is, and then event.target.name, whatever it is event.target.value. And the reason why we are getting this is because of that we need to define the type, because this event.target.name can be anything, so it is a dynamic value. So that's why our TypeScript get confused, because it wants one of those key to be present there, and that should be either name, email, or ID. But in our case, event.target.name can be anything. If we put like here instead of name some random thing, then it will basically give random thing there. So that's why it gets confused, and for that reason I'm using any here. This is almost similar to what I have done here. In this case, I am pushing new object to our array and updating that array. Whereas in this case, what I'm doing is first I'm finding index. So let's say our array has two objects. So when I say index, it will give me the index of whatever the ID we are passing. So let's say we have index of 1. Then what we are doing here is we are saying that that array, so that is our invite members array, and then the index of 0 means whatever the object we will have there, like if we have 2, then there will be 2 objects. So second will be our like index 1. And then what does this mean is event.target.name is whatever the event we are talking. We have handle change here, and also we have handle member change here. So if we are talking about this one, then our event.target.name will be email, and in this case this will be name. Okay, so we are saying this, and then when we do name here, so that means it's almost similar to we are giving the object name, like for example object.name. So that's the same as what we are doing it. So if we had like 2 objects inside, what we are saying is second object of that array, which is index 1 because it starts with 0, and then name.name. It's basically the same thing. So if it is about name, then it will be name. If it is about email, it will be email. And if we add some other input fields in future, then it will also automatically do that. So that's all we are doing here. If you are confused, please comment it. I will make a separate video about how to do that indexing, but for this I think you will understand. So the next what we need to do is we have to now update our main invite members, because that's our main state. So let's say set invite members, and then we will pass this array because that's where we have done the update. And with that, our updating is done and our adding and removing is done. So the last one is send invitation. We are not sending invitation anywhere. However, let's just create a function. So that will be, let's just say handle invitation send, or we can just say handle invitation. And then if I can create another function here, so handle invitation for members, and that will be the name of this, and we don't need anything for there. And for now I will just do console log, and what I will do console log is I will use this invite members because that's where we have all the states. So now if I do this, then well, actually let's do, instead of console log, let's do console table because this is our array. So now let's save it. Let's go back to our here and let's reload. Okay, so at first we have only 1. So let's write name will be Vikas, and email I will just write vikas@test.com. Now if I do send invitation, you see we have that one array, and that it has value, and we also have ID that we are getting with our UID. Now let's add another member, and then it can be John, and email is john@gmail.com. Similarly, let's add another, and that will be Penna. Okay, and that will be that email address. Now if I send invitation, we should be seeing array with 3 objects. So let's do that, and that's what we are saying. For name is here, email is here, and each of them they have ID. So let's say I want to add something for John. I do John Doe, and now this value, only this value will be changed. So let's do that, and you see only this value is John. And let's say we want to remove this. Let's remove, and let's send invitation, and you can see that we have only 2 values. And then it's up to you. How do you want to handle, or do you want to send it to backend, or whatever you want to do it, you can do from there. Okay, so that is about our first part here. Now let's go and let's do the second part. I will close this for better visibility. So now we have to do almost a similar approach, except we have a little bit deeper level here. So let's go and let's create a team array there. So just like we had our invite members, similarly let's go and let's create a state, and this state will be team members, or you can do anything, but I will just do that, and then say team members. Okay, and this will be also React use state, and again probably you have guessed it, so it will be also an array. But the difference is now inside here we have to give some initial state, and our initial state will have, if you go here, we will have the name of the team. So let's say that will be, okay, so team name, and let's do empty. And then we can have ID of that, because we also need ID for each of this section. So let's do the same thing, and ID. So this deals with our main thing here. However, inside we have also dynamic thing, so we have to also handle that part. So for that we can use the same approach. So that will be our array of members, okay, and that will be basically the same thing. So we can even copy this array. So we have an array, and inside there we have another array. So that's how it is working. And with that, so we have one array that consists of object, and that object has team name and ID and members, and then members will be again array, because we are also adding one label. So every time you need to have something dynamic, it's good that you have it in array, so you can, you know, keep on adding that. So now let's go here, and let's go back here. And so we will first do handle add team. So that's what we need to do. So const handle add team, and this will be almost same as what we have here. So if you see, we are doing this approach. So we need to, let's do that. Let's copy this, okay, and then what we can do is, instead of invite members, what we have team members. So let's go here, and so we do team members. We don't have that, looks like. Okay, so it's teams members. So we have some typos there, but let's go with that. So that's what we have. And then just like that, what we need to do is we need to also push here. However, as you can see, we already got this. So what we can push is, we can basically push the same thing what we have here in our initial state. So let's copy this, and then inside our push here, let's go, and that's good. And now here, instead of set invite member, what we can do is set team members, and then obviously this we need to replace, and that's all. So now if we go with this, and then somewhere here where we have add new team, we go, and then on click, what we can do is we can do handle add team. That's good. However, we also need to do one more thing here, that is here. So we have to also do the similar thing here, and for that we can say add new member in team. So let's have this function also created, and for that we need to have a little bit different approach. Why we need to have different approach? Because we need to know which ID we are talking about. So we'll come back to that later. So first thing first, let's go and let's create this function. So handle new member inside selected team. So we go here, and then this will have ID that will be string, and then the rest is almost the similar approach how we are doing updating here. So first thing, we need to find let, so we need to have teams members, and that is the same as our teams members. And then from here we need to find the index. So we can already find index here, const index equals to team members dot find index, and then team, where team id team dot id is same as the ID that we are passing. And now we know which object we are talking about inside. So the next thing what we need to do is, so inside team members we have ID, so we know that. And then we need to do members, because we have members area inside, dot push, and then okay, we have index. So let's copy this index here. So we are going again inside that object, that is whatever we had created, and then also inside that we have members. So we do members here. Where are we? Here. And then we push basically the same thing. So this is what we are going to push. And that's it. So now we have all the addition part completed. Similarly, since we have 8, let's also do, and then okay, we will do the deletion part later, but before that we need to change our this row section to make dynamic. So let's go here, and we have team members dot map, and then we get team, and then inside team what we need to do is we need to okay, so we need to go and do something like that, and then what else we need to do? Okay, so here we have to pass some ID, that will be team.id, so that does the job. However, also inside members, this form row, we have to again do also another mapping here, and that mapping will be inside temp.members.map, and then we have the same thing like we had earlier. So let's go inside here, and then this whole row, this is basically the same thing what we did in our first step. So we have member, and obviously we need to also give here key, so that will be member.id, and also we need to give key here, and that will be member, not member, sorry, team.id. So now we have all this settled. So now we need to also figure it out how to handle these values. So first thing we need to do is handle the name. That's what we need to do. And then also inside we need to handle its members. But first thing first, let's go and let's check here. So let's refresh here. So when I create new team, I need to see the similar box, and I see it, and I see it. Similarly, if I add this, there is nothing happening, and there is nothing happening. So let's see if we have any. We don't see anything, so let's see if we have even function there or not. Okay, so add new member in the team. Okay, so let's go here. Oh, it is because we have created that. However, we had not done the team's member. Now if we refresh it, then let's do, and then you see inside there also we have all the data. That's good. Now the next thing, well, I will definitely not do the removing part, because removing part you can do it here. However, I will do the removing part for the name whole section. Well, actually that also you can do it. That's also tax for you, so you will have the idea. You can use basically the same logic that we have. So if you see here, I have removed member row, so where I'm passing ID, and then like doing the filter here, and then setting that you can do the basically same thing. So you can copy this, and then you can also filter it, and then update the ID, and that way it will automatically. So in that case you need ID, and similarly you can remove the member in the team. In that case you need to have 2 ID. When you are removing member in row or in team, then you need to have also team ID, and then the ID of that member you are removing, so that you know that which of the row you are talking about removal. Okay, because we might have this. So if I try to add here, and if I try to remove this, then I need to know which team I'm talking about, so I need team ID, and then inside that team which row I'm talking about, so I need that member ID. So almost the same approach, but it's just that you need 2 IDs in that case, and you need to do 2 indexing. So that's all you need to do. I will leave that as a task for you, because I believe coding is also practicing, not just watching videos. So that is a good practice for you. Okay, so the next thing what we need to do is how to handle this data. Okay, so first thing we need to do is handle team data, and then second thing we will do is how to handle the inner members data. Okay, so let's create here 2 functions. So first is handle team data, so cons handle team data, and that will have just like how we had handle here. So we need these 2 things, exactly the same approach here. So we need those 2 things, and then we have a function. So here what we need to do is, you can basically copy this. So first we need to find the ID index. So index is our team members dot find index, and then team, and then where team dot ID is same as whatever the ID we are passing. The next thing probably you have guessed, so let's do let teams members is same as we spread it, and then we have teams members. Now the next thing we need to also do here, like you guessed, we have to do any here because of type thing. I already explained you member here, and then we talk about index, and then we talk about event.target.name is same as event.target.value. And then the last thing we need to do is set team members is team members. All right, so this will handle our main name. However, this we have to handle separately, and let's create another function. So handle team, handle inner member data in team. Okay, so handle member in team data, and then here we will have one is team ID, and then another is member ID or member row ID, and then that is same. So here we need to first know what index we are talking about from the team perspective. So for that, what we can do is we can do team ID, so that we know we are talking about that team. Then second thing, we can basically do exactly the same, but on top of that we need to also find another index. So this will be team index, and then now we need to know member index. So member index, let's just do here this. So member index will be the same approach. So we have team members, so we need to know which index we are talking about. So team index dot members, and then we have to do find index. So we are going from here which inside the object, and inside the object we have members array, and inside that member we have to again do the same logic what we have been doing. Member dot ID is same as member ID. Okay, okay, it's saying any, and it is understandable. We can even do so that yeah, if we do like this, it will not complain because we have done any here and we are using that team members. However, for member index calculation, we can use our main, and it knows that we have members and we have all these IDs. It's more about TypeScript. What we need to do here is first we need to do that teams members and then team index. So we go there and then we go inside members, and then inside member we will have member index, and that member index, and there we have event.target.name is same as value. And then, so basically we are doing the same approach like we are doing here or in our OR-layer member. The only difference is because we have to also know, because we will have many teams here, so we have to know which team we are talking about. And then inside team we have to also know, because this is also dynamic. So first this our team is array, so we need to index of that array to know which team we are talking about. And then inside team we have members, so we need to know which member we are talking about. So that's why we have this double thing going on here, and it might look confusing, but as again, if you are confused about how to do this indexing and object key and everything, then please just comment it out, so I will make a separate video. Okay, the last part now we have is we have to attach this. So first thing, let's go, and we have this handle member in team data. So let's go here, and inside our member here name, so what I can do is on click I can do like this and like this. So we have event, and then we have this, and it will tell us what we have to pass. So we have to pass team.id, then we have to pass member.id, then we have to pass event. And let's copy this and let's use this also in our email. So what is happening here? Okay, so we are getting some problem. So that's event and on, oh sorry, it's not on click, it's on change. Okay, so now this should be good. No, sorry, I messed everything here. So this should be on click, however this should be on change. Okay, so this is done for our inner. However, we need also something for our actual team here, and for that also we have to do the same approach. So we have e, and then we have handle. Okay, so what's the name of that function? So we have the member handle team data. All right, so let's go here and let's do that, and then it will expect team.id and e. Okay, so the last thing is let's go here and save team data on click. So let's do save team handle, or let's just say save team data. So this function doesn't exist and we need to create it, and all we are going to do is save teams data, and that will be just normal function, and all we will be doing is console.table. Let's try with table first. So team members, and now let's go back here and let's refresh. So now let's say the team name is Vikas Web, and then we have one like John here, and then something, and we have another Penna p@gmail.com. we have another team, and that is second team, and here we have user@gmail.com. Now if I go here and save, let's go to inspect. Okay, so we are getting array of 2, and somehow it, okay, so we have array of 2, so that is 2 team, and inside first we have members of 2, and that is here. So this is what I was talking about, ID. So we need team ID, so that way we know which team we are talking about. So when we find the index, it talks about index 0 or 1, and if it is index 0, then when I do dot members, it goes inside here. But also members is array, so we need also index for that, and it knows like which index we are talking about. So for example, if I want to change this zone to zone do, then it has to first find the index 0 from our main team array, and then dot members and find another index that is again this 0, and then dot name, that is the object key, and it should update that. So let's go and let's do that, zone do, and if I save it here, so now you will see here in our first, in our members, and there is zone do. So with this approach, you can make as nested as you want. The only difference here is that if you go another level, then you just need to have more and more array, and then you need to have more and more index going on. But however, I think with this idea, you will be able to now create as many this kind of dynamic form, and these are now just input field, but the same thing also applies if you have drop down, or if you have like some auto select or anything, because all you need to think here is how to handle the data, how to create data structure. That is the first important part. That is what we were talking here. So here we had only one object inside an array, but in our team members we had an array with this object, and also inside there we had members array. And if we had something else inside members, for example, if members position or role or something, and if that was array, then we would have also role array, and then inside role you could already give something, and you understand the point. So that's all about today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was helpful for you. And as I said, if you are confused about how to use indexing and what are all these keying and everything, then please feel free to comment it out. If I see enough comments, then definitely I will add that in my upcoming videos, because this is very important concept and you will use it a lot in your front end and probably also in your back end development. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed content, please smash the like button, and if you are new to channel, subscribe to the channel. With that being said, thank you so much. Keep coding. Bye bye.